This masterclass is about staying upbeat and positive and using essential oils to help you to do that. So obviously essential oils aren't the only way. There's lots of other options as well, but essential oils are my baby, one of my babies. So staying upbeat and positive with essential oils. What are we going to cover today? We're going to look at nose-brain science. Love that term. The link between your sense of smell and your emotions, and it's really strong. How your mind and emotions have a massive effect on your health. You're probably well aware of that. But I want to talk about one particular way that your mood can affect your health and why it's so important just now. I'm going to talk about 5 fabulous stress buster oils. I put up a little video yesterday with a quiz, kind of a quiz, to see if you could guess what oils I meant by using my pet names for them. Some of you got them nearly all right. No one got them completely right, but you'll find out the answers now in a minute. I'm going to look really quickly at how to use essential oils safely, because there's an awful lot of misinformation out there. You need to be careful. 4 quick fix ways to lift your mood with essential oils. So all of these ways are really easy, really straightforward, nothing complicated in them, because I want you to be able to use them right now if you want to. And if you're interested how you can study online to become an aromatherapist, and I have a really good offer at the moment and for the foreseeable future for anyone on my online aromatherapy course. So at the end of this masterclass, you will have a good understanding of how aroma affects your emotions. You'll know how to use essential oils safely. There really isn't that much to it. There's a couple of little things you need to know. And you'll know 4 ways you can quickly use them to lift your mood and your family and anyone who's with you at the moment. Should have started off by saying I hope everyone is keeping well and I hope you're keeping safe at the moment. And if essential oils can help you, I'll be delighted. So why would you listen to me? If you don't know me, my name is Jenny. I've been an aromatherapist for 20 plus years. I'm not going to tell you how much the plus is. It's getting bigger all the time. I'm an aromatherapist and an aromatherapy tutor. I've taught for ITech and VTCT, and I'm now running online training courses because of the demand. I'll just make a disclaimer. I'm not a corona expert and I'm not medically qualified, but I have used essential oils very effectively for severe anxiety, for panic attacks and for stress, and I've had some absolutely amazing results. And the best thing about it is that it is so easy. And I can show you effective ways to use essential oils for yourself to deal with stress, anxiety, irritability at any time, not just now. So if you have any questions, post them in the comments. I'm going to be checking every now and then to see if I can see the comments. And if I don't get to them now, I will get to them later. Nose-brain science. The link between your sense of smell and your emotions. We have thousands of smell receptors. They're at the top of the nose, funny enough, and they are directly linked to an area deep inside the brain, this little one here even, which is called the limbic area. The limbic area is the so-called primitive brain. It's the emotional brain. It governs mood, emotion, memory, instinctive, illogical judgments. Did you ever meet somebody and just immediately like them before they'd even open their mouth? Or in the same way, met somebody and just took an instant dislike with no logical reason, haven't done anything, haven't said anything, but the hackles are up in the back of your neck? That may be to do with smell, because we all have our own odor, not a bad one. We're not aware of it now, we're not aware of it consciously, our ancestors were, but we learn a lot about somebody from that odor. Oh, that mightn't be the right word. The limbic area also controls the endocrine system. The endocrine system is the hormone system. And one of the jobs of the endocrine system is to produce adrenaline. It controls the nervous system. And you're probably aware of fight or flight, or you could say fight, flight, or freeze when you have that reaction to fight, run away, and usually you just freeze because you can't do either. And it also governs emotionally charged memories. It kind of classifies the memories into which are important and which you remember and stuff like that. So limbic area, really important, and the sense of smell is talking directly to it. It's crazy. So the way some of the parts of your body work and the way they interact with each other is just crazy. So the sense of smell in the olden days was way more important than it is now. It was life or death. If a caveman sees a nice cave, I think I might live in there, he needed to know straight away whether a wolf had been in the cave, whether it was gone. Was it gone on a hunting spree? Was it coming back? Was it gone for weeks? Was the wolf still in there? He needed to know that right away, and he needed to take action right away. So sense of smell, message goes to limbic area, and if the wolf is in the cave, the caveman just a patch of scorched earth where he was. So it's instinctive and it's really important. So generally speaking, the sense of smell was to warn, or probably still is to warn of danger, but we want to use it in a different way. So just to help you to see just how important or how powerful your sense of smell is and how it can trigger memories. If you say, think of your grandmother or somebody you love who has passed, who maybe has passed a while, what do you think would bring her to mind, make you nearly feel her more clearly? A photograph, the sound of a voice, a recording of a voice, or the smell of something she used to do? So say if she liked to make brown bread, as soon as you get the smell of brown bread, you would be transported back into your grandmother's kitchen and you'd nearly be talking to her. So really, really powerful. I've used the power of the sense of smell, a lot. And one example was a client who had severe panic attacks. And she came on a regular basis. And she had it was into the head massage she came for with essential oils, and yeah, she loved it. Her panic attack would come on for no reason, as panic attacks do, and they're terrible. She said she was sitting there with her husband one night, and there was no problem. There was no aggro, everything's fine. And all of a sudden, the palms started to get sweaty, and the heart rate started to speed up, and she could feel the panic attack coming along. Now, that in itself would actually make you panic more, the fact that you feel the panic is coming, so it's kind of a vicious circle. But she said, I'd given her some of the oil that was left from her last massage, and she took out the oil and she smelt it. I told her to try this if she got a panic attack. And she said when she smelt the oil, she remembered how she felt during her last massage. And with that, the panic attack disappeared. So amazing, because you can't remember a positive feeling and have a panic attack at the same time. It's one or the other. So I'm not saying that for every single person who has a panic attack, this is going to work, but it's very typical. It's a typical result. And such a simple thing, a little bottle of oil, and she smelt it. It just, the power is just amazing. So we as aromatherapists are using essential oils and the sense of smell to trigger calmness and relaxation. So caveman gets smell of wolf. Caveman has triggered his sympathetic nervous system. Heart rate is speeded up and he is gone. And we're using essential oils to stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system, which is where everything is calm and relaxed. And it's just great. Just going to take a quick look to see if I can see the comments in case anyone has a question. Sorry about this. I will get this worked out. Right, sure, I'll get them later. So caring for your emotional health, obviously it's always really important. And it's especially important now. So we are looking at, taking care of ourselves and not contracting even the virus and washing our hands. And that is so important. But we also need to look after our emotional health. Sometimes being at home can be frustrating. You can't get out, you can't go to work, you can't see your friends, and maybe you're just in too close proximity with people that you love, and it's kind of rain. So we need to look after that. And also, as you're probably aware, that stress and anxiety can deplete the immune system. Now, I know stress and anxiety do an awful lot of other things as well, and if you're a holistic therapist, you could tell me an awful lot about that. But for this class, I'm just looking at how they deplete the immune system. You probably know that people who are prone to get psoriasis or sinusitis or irritable bowel syndrome or lots of other things will usually say that when they're stressed is when they're more likely to get an outbreak or whatever. And even looking at the common cold, you could have 6 people in a lift. One person has a cold, 4 people catch it, 2 people don't, and they're all in the same situation. And a lot of that could be to do with the immune system, with the person's immune system. So we can help the immune system through the emotions. Hope all this is making sense. I'm going to have a little check to see. So I see a couple of people there, including Cindy. Hey, hiya, Cindy. Don't see the other names, but I will come back to them. So you're all very welcome. And I will get back to where I was. So essential oil cautions. There's an awful lot of misinformation out there on the internet. And there is a lot of advice, people telling people that you can put them directly on the skin. You don't need to mix with anything first. And even worse, people saying it's okay to take them internally. So you don't take essential oils by mouth. Clinical aromatherapists will do it, but they do it in very careful formulations, and they do it in things like suppositories, capsules, etc. So obviously suppositories are not taken by mouth, but you don't use them undiluted on the skin. There are a couple of exceptions, not very many. As a rule, you're going to mix them in something like a vegetable oil, a cream, or whatever. And be careful as well, don't let them come into contact with the eyes. So if you are using them in a cream on your face, just make sure you leave a gap. So don't, put them around here, maybe don't bring them right up. If I'm using essential oils on a client's face, I will be careful not to get them too close to the eyes. And I'll also tell them, look, for the next while, don't rub your eye, because I've used essential oils close to your eyes and it might irritate you. So cautions to essential oil. Short and sweet, easy peasy. So, how are we doing so far? We have looked at nose-brain science, the link between your sense of smell and your emotions. We've looked at how your mood and emotions can affect your health. Well, one of the ways your mood and emotions can affect your health. We've looked at how to use essential oils safely. Not too much to that. And we just need to do the stress buster oils and the ways to use them to lift your spirits. And then I'll tell you a little bit about the course as well. So before we go on, let's do a little recap. I find recaps are great because when you're taking a lot of information, it can be hard when you get to the middle to think, what was the first bit? So quick recap. Smell receptors are connected to the limbic area of the brain, which controls mood, memory, emotion, instinctive judgment, and emotionally charged memories. And really importantly, it regulates, as in controls, the endocrine system, which is the hormone system, and the endocrine system produces adrenaline. It also controls the nervous system, and the nervous system, one of the things the nervous system does is triggers or stops that fight or flight reaction. Our ancestors, smell was so important to them. If they hadn't had a proper sense of smell, we wouldn't be here, because they would have gone into the cave and been eaten by the wolf. Poor wolves, and not just wolves. So the effect of emotions on health. Ongoing stress depletes the immune system and leaves us open to common cold, skin conditions and infection. Using essential oils safely. Don't take by mouth. Don't use undiluted on the skin, and don't use very close to the eyes. So not too much. Right. Oh, this would happen. Right. So question time. This is just for a bit of fun. If you want to see, if you know the answer, you obviously don't have to type in the chat or anything like that, but just for a bit of fun. And I find that when you're learning something, if you ask yourself a question, it kind of makes the information stick in your mind, because your brain is kind of thinking, I need to know the answer to that. And then it'll absorb it and retain it for longer. So what part of the brain are the smell receptors connected to? How can stress affect our health? Now, I know there's loads of ways stress can affect our health, but just for now, what is the important way that stress can affect our health? Can you name 3 things you should not do with essential oils, or 3 ways you should not use essential oils? And can you remember the link between the limbic area of the brain and adrenaline? So I'm going to just give you a minute. I'm going to see if I can find the comments. Give you a minute just to have a think about that and see if you know the answers. So as I say, it's a great way for help you to. Sorry, I'm just trying to see if I can see these. No, I can't. Yeah, I got them. So hello Fiona, hello Cindy, hello Lorraine, you're all very welcome, and hi Fran, and I'm delighted that you're enjoying the aromatherapy course. Please, I haven't seen you for a long time. How are you doing? And Nina, Ellie. I'm not going to go into everyone's name, but look, you're all very welcome. It's lovely to see you here, and I hope you're enjoying it. And I can see the comments, hey. Right, so now moving on to the answers. So what part of the brain are smell receptors connected to? That would be the limbic area. How can stress affect our health? So one of the ways, it weakens the immune system. Can you name 3 things you should not do with essential oils? Don't take by mouth. Don't use undiluted on the skin, so mix it in an oil or something. Don't use it too close to the eyes. What's the link between the limbic area and adrenaline? The limbic area, the ancient brain, the primitive brain, the emotional brain, controls the endocrine system, which controls adrenaline. So you get stressed out, limbic area tells the endocrine system it's stressed out, endocrine system releases adrenaline. And too much adrenaline in your system is a poison. Obviously, it's there for a reason, but too much is not good. So now on to the 5 stress buster oils, and we will see who got the questions right yesterday. So I know a few people actually got most of them right, so fair play to you. I kind of tend to give essential oils my own kind of name. Sometimes it's a weird name, but it makes perfect sense in my head, so that's fine. So 5 stress buster oils. These are 5 of my favorite oils to balance mood, lift the spirits, and reduce anxiety and irritability. They're not the only ones. So a few people put suggestions in after the short video yesterday, and they were quite right. Those oils are very good for stress as well. I mean, there's loads of oils good for stress. But we keep this short and sweet because I could be here all day. So Leonardo da Vinci. The Leonardo da Vinci oil is lavender. And actually a lot of people in the chat yesterday got that right. Why is lavender Leonardo da Vinci? Because it is an excellent all-rounder. It's not like a jack of all trades. It's good at a lot of things, but it's really, really good at a lot of things. So what does lavender do? It balances the mood, it calms stress and anxiety, and it lifts depression. And as well as that, not in the emotional sense, but very good for now, it's antiviral, very, very good antiviral, and it boosts the immune system. The contraindication to lavender is don't use it during pregnancy. Regarding pregnancy, there's no known case, as far as I'm aware, of essential oils ever having caused harm to a mother or a baby, or ever having caused a miscarriage. But as aromatherapists, we need to be 120% sure that nothing we do could ever cause harm. So if there's the slightest chance, I obviously won't use this. And there's so many essential oils with so many properties that you can always find something else to suit you. So I hope all this is making sense. If not, type in the comments and I'll try and get back to them and check them. Little oil of stress, bergamot. I love bergamot. Bergamot, if you don't know it, it's a citrus oil and it's lovely. It's sweet, but it's not too sweet. I was actually in a class one time and one of the students said to me, Jenny, are you able to say a sentence that doesn't have bergamot in it? And I said, why would you want to say a sentence without bergamot? Bergamot is beautiful. It's simultaneously calming and uplifting. Its natural chemicals, half of its natural chemicals are calming and the other half are uplifting, which is absolutely great. And just before I go on, somebody made a very good comment there yesterday that they didn't like some of the oils that people were mentioning. And that's fine because it's very subjective. So when I say an oil is beautiful, it means I love the oil. It doesn't mean everyone is going to love it. So just to say that, you like some, you won't like others, and we all have different tastes. I use bergamot, or recommend bergamot a lot for driving tests and exams, that kind of situation where you need to be calm, but you also need to be alert. And bergamot, very good bones at the moment, is also antiviral and it boosts the immune system. Bergamot smells really soft and gentle. And a lot of people naturally would think if it smells like that, it's not powerful, but it is powerful. Bergamot is very powerful. Contraindication to bergamot, it's phototoxic. So don't use it within 48 hours before going out in bright sunlight or before using a sunbed. Today is nice and bright. I'll be a little bit dodgy about using bergamot now. Usually it's later in the year, but yeah, so the citrus oils in general are phototoxic, but bergamot is the worst offender. And there was a girl I was talking to last year who just made a perfume with bergamot in it and rubbed it onto her wrists. And when I saw her again, she had a nice little red line along each wrist. I said, what's that? And she goes, oh, I use bergamot. I had said not to, but you obviously, when you learn so much, you can forget things. So yeah, don't use bergamot in bright sunlight. So the emotional crutch. The emotional crutch is ylang-ylang. I love ylang-ylang, and ylang-ylang is really good for long-term stress. So all the ones I've mentioned so far are good, but ylang-ylang has something particularly good. Ylang-ylang does three amazing things that, as far as I'm aware, no other essential oil does. It regulates adrenaline, it regulates breathing, and it regulates the heart rate. It's not going to interfere with a normal heart rate, but if your heart rate is too quick, it'll slow it down a bit, regulate it, just bring it down to normal level. So it works in a very physical way, but it has a very strong emotional effect. A friend of mine a couple of years ago said a friend of hers was suffering from palpitations. And she knew she wasn't into all this stuff, this holistic stuff, wouldn't have done anything for her. But she made her a perfume and had a couple of oils in it. One of them was ylang-ylang. And she said, oh, I made you perfume. And she said, oh, she loved the perfume. That was really nice. And she rang her about a week or two later. and asked her how she was and how were the palpitations, and she said, yeah, they were good. Yeah, she said, funny enough, I'm actually getting quite a long kind of gap. I haven't had a palpitation since I last talked to you, so that was quite an achievement. She said, oh, that's great, good, fantastic. And later on in the conversation, she asked her, oh, by the way, do you like the perfume I made you? And she said, oh, I do, I love it. I'm using it every day since I saw you. So obviously, it's not proof that the perfume reduced the palpitations, but it shows it's worth trying. Ylang ylang can be heady if it's used alone, and that means it can give you a headache. I was talking to someone actually on Facebook yesterday as well, and they were saying that they found ylang ylang made them a little bit kind of nearly queasy, and it can, and the way around that is to mix it with something else. So you could make a blend of bergamot, lavender, and ylang ylang, or even one other oil with ylang ylang, and it'll reduce that headiness. Ylang ylang can also be, if you use it on the skin, it can be very extractive. Extractive means it'll draw out whatever is in there, which overall is a good idea. But if you have a young one with acne who's going to her debs, that's not the time to use ylang ylang. You look lovely next week. But yeah, no, not good. So good overall, but just be aware that it can be extractive, so it can make the skin condition appear worse before it gets better. I haven't experienced it myself. I have heard it can do it, so just be aware of that. Grapefruit. Grapefruit is the paradise oil. Grapefruit's botanical name is Citrus paradisi, and if you do want to go on to know aromatherapy in a more deep level, you would need to know the botanical names, but it's easy to remember grapefruit's name. The oil is absolutely beautiful. I haven't known anyone who hasn't liked grapefruit. Absolutely gorgeous, and paradise just seems to fit in with it. Grapefruit has a really unusual property. It balances body rhythms. So great for something like jet lag, and also great for SAD, which is seasonal affective whatever disorder. Someone can correct me there if I'm wrong. Grapefruit is uplifting. It helps SAD. It balances the sleep-wake cycles. Really good one to use for insomnia. Again, despite its lovely, gentle smell, also boosts the immune system and is also antiviral. Grapefruit is also phototoxic, so again, don't use it within 2 days of going out in bright sunlight or using a sunbed. So if I use it on Monday, I don't want to be out in bright sunlight on Wednesday. So obviously you can still use it, but just don't have that area of your skin exposed to the sun. So I hope everything is making sense so far. I'm going to be going through a few more questions in a couple of minutes, and I'll check the comments and see if you have any questions. And if you're watching the replay to this, also feel free to leave your comments, and I will come back to maybe keep in line this post now for a while. The duvet oil is benzoin. Benzoin is lovely, it's thick, it's rich, it has a gorgeous vanilla aroma, and it's just like wrapping a duvet around yourself, kind of nurturing and minding yourself. Benzoin is calming, grounding, and soothing. And it also nourishes the respiratory system, and there are no contraindications, as far as I'm aware, to benzoin. Beautiful, gentle, safe oil, absolutely gorgeous. Well, of course, gorgeous in my opinion. So a lot of people have asked me over the years, which is the best brand of essential oils? There's no best brand as such. If you stick with a well-known brand, it's the safest thing, because people who have built up really good reputations over the years are not going to risk them by selling the low standard set of essential oils. Some of the ones I use, this isn't the entire list: Tisserand, Gerard, Atlantic, Ancient wisdom. Ancient wisdom can be a bit hard to get now at the moment. Ogham oils, if I'm pronouncing that right. Unicorn, lovely. Fleur. Fleur are a bit more expensive, but they are really nice. That's, as I say, not a complete list. That's some of the ones I've used myself and some of the ones I've heard recommended. Atlantic, if you find a shop that sells Atlantic essential oils, they usually have a great range. doTERRA. So a couple of people have asked me about doTERRA oils. So there is nothing wrong with doTERRA oils. Their standard is not the right word. They're pretty good. But to my mind, they are way, 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 way overpriced. They're no better than other oils I have on this list. So an essential oil is either a pure essential oil or it's not a pure essential oil, and the therapeutic grade doesn't actually mean anything. So I would say they're fine to use. There's nothing wrong with them, but they are expensive. Just bear that in mind. I wouldn't think that they would be worth the price compared to all the other options that you have. So now, 4 quick fix. Let's try that again. 4 quick fix. Well done. Ways to lift your mood with essential oils. You can use them in a bath, in a massage. Now, you don't need to be massage therapist. I'll talk about this in a little bit. In a perfume or an inhaler, or in a burner. And you'll probably find other ways of using them as well. So, to use essential oil in a bath, don't make the mistake I made. When I got my first bottle of essential oil, it says put 6 drops in the bath. So I shook the drops into the bath, as you would. And then I decided to put in more than 6. I put in about 12 or whatever. On the grounds that it said pure, natural essential oil. And on the base that if 1 apple is good, 2 apples are better, I decided to put in more. I didn't stay in the bath very long. I think I was using that albus oil. So really, 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 really strong. So I was in and, oh God, out again. The smell was overpowering and I probably would have got burnt as well. So most people starting out are not aware that you don't put essential oils directly into the bath because they don't mix in water. You need to put them into some fatty-based substance first, most commonly a vegetable oil or milk. Now, you can also include them in your shower gel. I'm not speaking English very well today. Your shower gel, liquid soap, or whatever, any kind of fat-based substance is fine. So what you need, you would have a dark glass bottle and vegetable oil. Well, that milk should be there. To make up your blend for a bath, a dark glass bottle and vegetable oil and your essential oils. If you want to use milk, you're only going to make enough for 1 bath because obviously you can't store it. So you just need milk and some kind of a container and the essential oils of your choice. When you're making up a blend of essential oils, you need to be careful how much essential oil you use. We use 1% blends or 2% blends. A 2% blend would be where you use 2 drops of essential oil for every teaspoon or 5 ml of your carrier. So if you want to use 3 drops of essential oil, you need to use 1.5 teaspoons. So I hope that's making sense. So it's not 2 drops of each oil you're using, it will be 2 drops in total. So if you're using lavender, bourbon and ylang ylang, you would use 1.5 teaspoons of oil and 1 drop of each of those oils. So I hope that's clear enough for you there. 2 drops you would use for most adults. Adults in aromatherapy terms will be somebody who is over 12 years old. For a child between the ages of 1 and 12, you would use a 1% blend. For a child under 1, you use different amounts. I won't go into that now, it would take too long, but it will be covered on the course, obviously. So somebody who's pregnant, somebody who has sensitive skin, anyone who is elderly, frail, or convalescent, you would use a 1% blend for. And a 1% blend is 1 drop of essential oil to 1 teaspoon which is 5 ml of whatever carrier you're going to use. You can make more. If you're using an oil, you can make more, but make them in those proportions. And then you would add about 1 or 2 capfuls. Say you have a bottle, 1 or 2 capfuls of that you would add to the bath. Don't put in too much or you'll be slipping around like a bar of soap. And I've done that too. So milk. When I first heard about using milk, I was going, what? My friend suggested I use milk. I said, I'm not using milk. What do you think I am, Cleopatra? So I'd be sitting there in the bath and having fucking camels floating past me. I'm not using milk. But she said, okay, don't be ridiculous. She said, first of all, the milk, the smell, there's no smell of milk. And the milk completely disintegrates. You don't even see the milk in the bath. And plus, the milk is actually very good for your skin when you use it on the outside. The advantage of using milk is that it doesn't cling to the sides of the bath. So when you use an oil, you have to give the sides of the bath a good scrub afterwards. But using milk, you don't have to do that. It doesn't, as I say, there's no smell and there's no residue of milk. Disadvantage, if there's a disadvantage, is that you just make enough for one bath. You don't make kind of loads and then store it. So for massage, it's made basically in the same way as the bath. So you'll need to have a dark glass bottle, a vegetable oil. Coconut oil and castor oil are actually really good. And they're really good because they are antibacterial, antiviral, and antifungal. And at the moment, antibacterial is really good. Both of those oils are quite thick. So what I would do is I would put in half castor if you have it. Half castor, half grapeseed or whatever, or half coconut and half whatever. So basically, especially now, it's hard to get out to the shops. Just use whatever vegetable oil that you have. If you have coconut or castor, include that in your blend. And if not, just use the oils that you have. And use, obviously, your essential oils. To make it, again, it's for adults, 2 drops of essential oil per teaspoon of your vegetable oil. For a child between 1 and 12, pregnant, somebody pregnant, elderly, convalescent, sensitive skin, is a 1% blend, 1 drop of essential oil to a teaspoon of your vegetable oil. And you make more if you want to in those proportions. So you don't need to be a massage therapist to be able to use massage to help to relax you. You can do it yourself and your partner could do it for each other. Just rub on the oil in nice, long, sweeping strokes. It's all about relaxation. And those using long, sweeping strokes will help you to absorb the oil as well. So it's a lovely little treat for yourself or for someone else. Another way of using the essential oils to help with stress is in a perfume, as my friend did for her friend, an inhalation and an aromatherapy inhaler, or in a burner. And all of those ways work really well. So for a perfume, I would suggest that if you have essential oils, that you keep your bottles when you finish with them. You don't ever throw them away because you'll always find a use. I'm going to be talking a lot more about that on Friday, how you use your empty bottles. So again, it's a 1 or 2% blend in the vegetable oil, and just dab it on as you would a perfume on your wrists and behind your ears. And actually on your wrists and on your wrist, there's an awful lot of acupoints that are good for stress. I presume that's why perfume would have been used there originally. And behind your ears, it's just beside the jugular vein, which is actually very close to the heart. Inhalations, you can do that in a number of different ways. If you have an aromatherapy inhaler, and if you're interested in getting them, you can get them on Amazon and they're quite cheap, so you don't need to go out. I'm not recommending anyone go out to buy anything unless you're going out anyway. You would put for emotional issues, or just to make yourself feel good, give yourself a little lift. One of the best things about aromatherapy is that you don't need to be sick and you don't need to be stressed and you don't need to have a problem to use them. You can use them all the time because they make you happy. And when you're using them all the time, it just makes you strengthens your system generally. So on an aromatherapy inhaler, you take it apart and there's a little cotton kind of a pad in the inside, cotton stick in the inside, and you put your essential oils on that and then close it up again. And it's fantastic. Using the inhaler is fantastic for headaches and it's fantastic for stress. You can also use a burner or a diffuser. So with a burner, you would put water in the well. So the well is the roundy thing up here. And then add some essential oils to it, 2 or 3 drops. Don't make the mistake of thinking, oh, I can't smell it, therefore I need more oil. The oils are still there and they're still working, even if you can't smell it. If you think about when you're cooking a dinner, you don't smell it, and then someone else walks in and goes, oh my God, that smells gorgeous. But yeah, don't make the mistake that you have to use loads of oils, because too much essential oil is never going to be a good thing. So before I go on, actually, just talking about the inhaler, I had a student a couple of years ago, and she was severely anxious. She was seeing a doctor, and she was on medication, and she was just going through the mill, God love her. So I made her up an aromatherapy inhaler, and I wasn't really sure how much of an effect it was going to have because she was so severe. But I said, look, it's worth a try. So I gave her the inhaler, as she liked with it. I didn't see her for about 2 weeks. And when she came back in again, I said one of the most silly things I've ever said, and I have said a lot of silly things, this is probably the most silly thing. I said, oh my God, you look like you. And she said, that's exactly how I feel. But I hadn't, because she had been getting worse over a couple of weeks. She was looking tight and tense, and she just looked like herself. But the best thing what she said to me was that she had been to her doctor, and her doctor had been planning to up the medication. He was gradually increasing the medication. But when he saw her that time, he said, I don't need to increase the medication, which was amazing. And he said, what are you doing? And she said, I'm using this aromatherapy inhaler. And he said, keep using that then. When she went back after that, he reduced the medication. Absolutely fantastic. Just a little thing as well about medication and essential oils. Never advise anyone to reduce their medication if it's prescribed. So if someone's using painkillers and the oils are working for pain, great, they can reduce their painkillers, that's fine. But not if it's prescribed. They can keep taking them as they would, and when they next see their doctor or whatever, they can say, I'm feeling better, I might need less or whatever, but let the doctor be the one to decide. And this is particularly important with someone who is suffering from depression or anxiety and are on medication, because I've heard stories that of people, gurus, telling people they can reduce your medication and you can have devastating consequences. Sorry, that was a bit of a rant. So if you're still here, we'll continue. So we have looked at nose-brain science, the link between your sense of smell and your emotions. We looked at how your mood and emotions affect your health. We looked at how to use essential oils safely. We looked at 5 fabulous stress buster oils and their weird names that I come up with. And we looked at 4 quick fix ways, can't say that today, to lift your mood with essential oils. So let's do a quick recap. So I know we've already recapped on this, but let's just do it again anyway. The smell receptors are connected to the limbic area of the brain, also the emotional brain, which controls mood, memory, emotion, instinctive judgments, and emotionally charged memories. It also regulates the endocrine system, which produces adrenaline, and it controls the nervous system, which starts that fight or flight, or the opposite, keeps everything calm. And our ancient ancestors would not have survived very long, and therefore we wouldn't be here if they hadn't had a very sharp sense of smell to warn them of danger. So the effect of emotions on health: ongoing stress can deplete our immune system and make us more open to infection, to any kind of infection, and lots of other conditions too. Using essential oils safely: don't take by mouth, don't put undiluted on the skin, and don't use them too close to the eyes, no matter what they tell you. 5 stress buster essential oils. So lavender, the Leonardo da Vinci. It balances the mood, it's antiviral, and a boost immune system. Avoid during pregnancy. Bergamot, little oil of stress. It's calming and uplifting, and it's antiviral and a boost immune system. So calming and uplifting at the same time, which is a fantastic property to have. Ylang ylang, magical. Controls adrenaline, controls the heart rate, and controls the breathing rate. Fantastic. Ylang ylang can be extractive on the skin, makes the condition appear worse before it gets better, and it can be headache. It can cause a headache if you use it too much on its own. And the last two we looked at, grapefruit, citrus paradisi, my paradise oil. It's uplifting, regulates body rhythms as the sleep-wake cycles. It's antiviral and a boosts the immune system. Grapefruit is phototoxic. Benzoin, it's calming and soothing. It's actually calming and soothing for emotions, calming and soothing for the respiratory system, and calming and soothing for the skin. Often you'll find that what an oil does on a physical level, it'll also do on emotional stroke, physical stroke, mental levels as well. So the 4 quick fix ways that we used, that you can use to lift your mood with essential oils, and like any of these you can do, you can prepare in a couple of minutes. Absolutely great. So in a bath, you use a 1% blend of essential oils mixed in vegetable oil or milk. And you could also use liquid soap or whatever, but liquid soap tends to have an aroma of its own, so it's nicer to have it doesn't have an aroma. But if you only have your shower gel, go ahead and use that. In a massage, again, a 1 or 2% blend of essential oils in any natural vegetable oil. In a burner, put some water in the well and add 2 or 3 drops of essential oil to the burner, and it's beautiful. In a perfume or inhaler, a perfume might be easier now if you don't have inhalers. You use again a 1 or 2% blend mixed in vegetable oil is probably the easiest way for a perfume. If you're using an aromatherapy inhaler, all you need is the inhaler itself and add your essential oil drops to it. So I hope all that is making sense, and I hope you're getting some ideas of how you're going to be able to use these for yourself and your family, and share with other people too. I really want as much as possible to get this out to people because it's just so easy and it makes such a big difference. So, question time. This is getting a bit mean now. Which essential oil regulates body rhythms? Which essential oil controls adrenaline levels? What do we mix the essential oil? Start again. What do we mix the essential oils in when we're using them in a bath? And how many drops of essential oil to a teaspoon of a carrier, as in vegetable oil, whatever, do you use for a child? I've actually even confused myself here. I'm going to say that again. How many drops of essential oil to a teaspoon of vegetable oil, etc., do you use for a child between the age of 1 and 12? That was much better. So take a minute. You can write them down if you want. You can put them in the chat if you want. You obviously don't have to. I'm going to see if I can see the comments just in case anyone has a question. Right, perfect. So, answer time. Which essential oil regulates body rhythms? And it's grapefruit. Which essential oil controls adrenaline levels? Good Lord. That is ylang ylang. What do we mix essential oils in for a bath? Slow down. Vegetable oil or milk usually, but you can also use liquid soap, bath gel, etc. How many drops of essential oil to a teaspoon of carrier oil do we use for a child? And that's 1. 1 drop of essential oil to a teaspoon of your carrier. So, hope all that made sense. And if anything doesn't, do feel free to put it in the comments, and I'd be happy to come back. And remember, like when you're learning something, there are no silly questions. And if something that you're not sure about, if you don't know the answer, you can be fairly sure that someone else doesn't know the answer as well. So don't be kind of feeling that you can't ask questions because it's silly. There are no silly questions. So I want to tell you a little bit about my online aromatherapy course. if you want to take it further. So essential oils are amazing for so many conditions. So not just what I'm going to be covering today and the next few days. There's loads of things that's amazing for anxiety, digestive complaints, pain, skin conditions, PMT, I can go on. So how to become a certified aromatherapist online. The course is called Aromatherapy Wellness Professional. And I put it together. I've been teaching it in person for years and now it's gone online. But I put it together because I wanted my students to have a course that covered everything that they needed to know. So we don't just cover the basic requirements, as in your 41 essential oils and so many carrier oils and contraindications, which is really important, but we cover more than that. I want to give my students a really deep understanding of essential oils and aromatherapy. So for instance, when we're looking at chemicals, we would look at why you need the chemicals. Like, why do you care what chemicals an essential oil has? Just a really deep and practical understanding. To know how essential oils work energetically, which is so important and it's incredible as well. And I wanted my students to have real confidence when they're doing aromatherapy treatments. So that was the way it was when I did it in person, and that is the way it is when I do it online as well. So why is the course online? It's so convenient. Now, this is before we were even in the situation. It was for convenience. A lot of people were having difficulties with travel and work shifts and childcare, etc. And we're asking for it online. So the demand for online was bigger than the demand for the in-person. For timing, people found it really handy to be able to work in their own time at their own pace. And they love being able to come back and watch the videos whenever they want, because once you enroll in the course, you have lifetime access to all of the stuff and any updates as well. So what do we do on the course? First of all, we do a really deep dive into aromatherapy. We look at 41 essential oils, how to use them to keep healthy, treating a whole range of physical conditions, mental, emotional, and spiritual is spelled wrong. We also look at vegetable oils, and vegetable oils on their own are really, really powerful. And we use them for pain, for skin conditions, for hormone balancing, and more. And we have a full body massage. So the full body massage, you're not left to your own devices. You learn your techniques as you go along. You send me a video and I send you a video back with voiceover, making suggestions for improvement, etc. So it's all about supporting you. It's not about kind of making you feel nervous or something like that. My aim for this is that students will complete feeling confident, feeling happy, and also enjoying the course as well. And we look at an aromatherapy facial. Being able to do a facial is a huge plus. Now, obviously, you can't do it just now, but it's a big advantage. It can be, you can offer an aromatherapy facial on its own, or you can offer it as an add-on, an aromatherapy massage with a facial, and charge slightly more for it. We also look at how to use essential oils without massage. So not all the students are doing a massage at all. So there's loads of ways of using essential oils without massage. You can make products and stuff that has a fantastic effect. Or if you're already a massage therapist, you can just use the oils in your current massage. We look at consultation skills, which are really important for aromatherapy. I show you how to talk to your client and how to get the information you need and use that to come up with a blend of oils without taking all day. But it becomes second nature, but I will go into that in quite a bit of detail. Subtle aromatherapy, so important. We learn how essential oils work on the energetic level and how to charge them. I'm going to explain that in a minute. I believe that essential oils are communicating with us all the time. We're communicating with them on an energetic level. And I think that because so often an oil that seems to be illogical has popped into my head for a client, and it just keeps coming back into my head. So I will, if it's not contraindicated, I will include it in the blend. And 9 times out of 10, I'll find out during the treatment or after the treatment that the client has another reason for needing that oil that he didn't mention in the consultation. So I mean, I could talk more about that as well. How to charge essential oils is really important. So when we make a blend, we charge it, spots or light or visualizing the person looking really happy and healthy, etc. Or if you have Reiki or IT or other modalities like that, you can use that too. And that something simple as that takes 2 seconds. It's just really making blends way more powerful. And I've noticed over the last couple of years, it's more and more and more having an effect. Charging oils is having much more of an effect. I had a student one time who was treating a client, one of our case studies, and she came up with a blend of essential oils. It was great, they were grand. When she came back in the following week, she said that they hadn't worked. I was, oh, that's surprising, because I thought it was really good. So I said, are you charging the oils? And she goes, oh, yeah, I am, Jenny. Yeah, I am. Yeah. I was, okay, right. So try it again then. Same result. And you are charging the oils? Yeah, I am. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I come up with a different blender. Okay, try that. Came back in again. It wasn't having the effect that she wanted. I said, that's really good. It should be working. And I said, are you charging the oils? And she go, oh, I am. Yeah, I am, Jenny. Yeah, I am. I said, you're not, are you? Well, no, I didn't really think. Just charge the oils. Following week, came back in again. Yep, that worked. I'll charge them next time. Some of these little things, they just don't look like they're doing anything. They might even seem silly, but they are not silly. We're also going to look at aromatherapeutics. Aromatherapeutics is going to take your blending to the next level. And I have a couple of stories for you in the class tomorrow about what a massive difference it can make. And there's a lot of things that most aromatherapists don't know about aromatherapeutics. Now, it's not complicated and it's not scary, and I don't draw funny things on the board because I can't. It's all about practical chemistry, and it's easy to understand when you learn it like that. So this is just going to take your blending to the next level, a basic understanding of chemistry in essential oils. So the full course, usually, most courses would cost around £2,000 for that. Aromatherapeutics, subtle aromatherapy, massage, and any extras would add up to around 3,000. But I know there are really good colleges selling courses for that price, and they are very good, but I don't want to charge that price. Sorry, it's going to... One of the questions I'm asked a lot about, is it internationally recognised and can I get insurance? Because no one can do the course if you can't get insurance. It's accredited by the International Institute of Complementary Therapy. Not every insurance company will cover online courses. Some of them will. If you want, you can check with your present insurance company, but there are some that will cover online courses and in-person courses. So one of the ones that I use that are easy to work with is BGI, and they're international, not just UK, and they cover professional liability, public liability, products insurance, medical malpractice, which I don't think we need, but it sounds good. And they would be around 120 to 150-ish for all of your therapies. So how does it work? Roll and you get immediate access to everything. You work through the modules and you answer the questions and assignments in your own time. You practice your massage techniques and you send me videos. I send you your video back with a voiceover, make suggestions for improving it or saying where it's going really well. You complete case studies as you work, and the case studies are so interesting. You learn so much from your case studies. You get feedback and tips on your case studies. You complete 3 practical assessments. So when you've learned your massage, you do a full treatment from top to bottom, and you wear your tunic in a professional setting. And then you don't have an exam, but you can choose an aromatherapy topic to write about. I'll give you suggestions, or you can come up with your own. So no final exam is good. And throughout the whole course, you work at your own pace. You have lifetime access to the course and to any updates, and you have access to me for a year. You might find rid of me at the end of that, but anyway. So there's no rush and there's no pressure on getting it completed. So what's next? A lot of people will do this course just to follow their personal passion because they really want to know more about essential oils. You could become a self-employed aromatherapist, and you can use it to enhance your other therapies. So reflexologists, massage therapists, etc. can use this. So the price of the course is $9.50. I want it to be affordable. I don't want people who really want to do it not being able to do it. In 6 payments of $170 if you want to. And because of how things are, I brought in an extra payment plan or another alternative, which is 9 payments of $115. So these are all monthly payments. So it might make that easier for you if it's something that you wanted to do. So I have a free bonus called Lotions and Potions. So this, if you listen to one of my Facebook lives there lately, I was talking about making an income while we're kind of grounded. And one of those suggestions was for aromatherapists to make products. So in Lotions and Potions, I'm going to show you really quick, simple, easy ways of making beautiful creams, balms, sugar scrubs, sanitizers, and how you can use them to upgrade treatments. So if you're a sugar scrub first and then a lovely moisturizer and it just really brings it to the next level, you can give them as gifts to your client as a loyalty. So recommend so many clients or come for so many treatments and you get a special gift of whatever. And you can just sell them to clients, which is a great way of earning an extra income. And you can use that at any point, at any time. So this is now free to all online aromatherapy students, and it will stay that way for the foreseeable future till we see how things pan out. So I just think it's handy to have an extra income stream. So if it's for you, if you want to have therapy in depth and you have the available time, you will need at least a couple of hours a week. If the price and payment plan works and the second income stream sounds good and people are doing it, some people actually are doing the course and then just selling products and not actually doing the other things at all, which is grand. If you want to work at your own pace, but you like hands-on support as well and a very real live support, just because it's online doesn't mean you won't be getting proper support and I won't be looking over your shoulder in a nice way, I promise. So if you want more information on that, it's on my website. So essentialsholistic.com, online aromatherapy course, and you can email me at info@essentialsholistic.com. So I hope all that made sense. And I hope that you really enjoyed the course, and thanks very much for coming. If you have any questions about that, let me know. Thanks a million for everyone who came, and thanks a million to anyone who's watching the replay.